Hey, everybody, welcome to our weekly Ecosystem Office Hours call. I am your host, Jinx, and we are joined, as always, by the best and brightest in the Pocket ecosystem. We will start off, as per usual, with protocol updates along with gateway updates from Fred.
Thank you, Jinx. I got my notes, so here we go. Starting with protocol, talking about beta testnet. I know that everyone's wondering when it will be. We are still on target for November 21st for beta testnet. Between now and then, there is a bunch of feature work, load testing, and then we are just starting to work with Pocket Scan team to prep the Explorer. So really excited. Very short timeline now until we have beta testnet in everybody's hands, and I encourage everybody to check out the Pocket Roll repo and prep yourself and get ready and help us test and get involved however you can. Moving along to path updates. We're getting ready to ship a number of features over this week and next week. Specifically, those are Solana quality of service features. Some features that kind of make it very SaaS out of the box. So some integration with Envoy Proxy, which is a big open source repo and is embraced by the Cloud Foundation. And lastly, just some metrics that make running and maintaining and observing your instance of Path a lot more transparent. Along with that, I will just say that we are working with the foundation actively to archive Gateway Server. We're going to work on a date at which point that will be archived, and in favor of Path. And we'll just say, hey, welcome to Path. Come on, join us on the path. Take this walk with us. Lastly, just some general Grove updates and some portal updates. Google Marketplace, our listing with them, our go live should be this week or very early next week. We had a slight slowdown in the development process because we had to request an exception on kind of the billing cadence that Google expects. And we were able to get that exception. So we're making some last minute fine tuning there to just ensure that the billing loop with GCP works correctly. And on the F chains, we'll be targeting kind of our first rollout next week. That covers about 70+% of the chains entirely, and we'll have them relisted in the portal. A lot of that work. Thank you very much to all the node runners who responded to the RFP and are participating, but also a lot of the work that has slowed us down has just been, some of it's been node availability, but some of it's also been our own bandwidth within Grove to get the portal ready, prep the changes to the gigastakes, backend changes to our database, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm very excited about that. And we have a lot of customers who are eager to kind of hit the reset button with us. That's everything I got, Jinx.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for that. Anybody have any questions about any of that? I do have one question on the beta testnet for Shannon. What's going to be the options for participation in that?
I think that there are quite a few. I think you can become a supplier, you can become a path operator, you can run a node, you can play with the wallet. I think there's a lot. There's no real requirement for participation either. The repo is fully open source and all the tools are out there. So yeah, however you want to play and give feedback is much appreciated. And if you play and you break something or you find something you don't like, we would love to see people opening issues on the repository.
Beautiful. Yeah, I expect I'll film any board hours that I have with playing around with that as well. Mito asked, is it possible to expect the start of migration in 2024 and the launch of Shannon Q1 2025? I know about the plan, but is there a possibility to finish earlier?
I would say that the likelihood of us doing anything in 2024 is extremely low, and moving the timelines forward is low, for a few reasons. One, the number one reason is that the world kind of shuts down after Thanksgiving, at least in the U.S. and just in general, I think as we hit the holiday season, things are going to be slower. I don't expect this to affect the timeline and be pushing it back at all, but I do expect we won't be pushing anything forward to hit that end of year slump. It's not a good time to go live with anything in general. Also, I think we're hitting our target and we're going to stick to just kind of the timeline that we've proposed. A lot of that is due to kind of that time period where both Pocket main or Pocket Moors and Pocket Shannon are kind of running in tandem. There's a lot of logistics and pieces and parts that need to be considered very carefully while we're bridging between one and the other.
Yeah, strong agree there. I've also dealt with end of the year slumps, and given how many people are taking time off for holidays and family time and all the rest of that, it's awfully difficult to get strong support for what is clearly something that needs to be done methodically, carefully, and correctly. Strong agree on not trying to rush that at all. I'm just super happy that we're on track and on target based on our plans in regard to February. I know that after multiple delays in the past, people certainly have had some trepidation around if we were going to make the current timeline. So it's great to hear that we are where we are. Any other questions or thoughts on that? Yeah, sounds like not. We're good there. Cool. I don't see anyone from any of the other gateways here, so I'll assume that we don't have any other updates on that side. Um, I am going to put you on the spot though, Saeed. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, Mike mentioned next week, so I'll do that then.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Mito did also ask, can we expect something big from Pocket by the end of the year? Um, I mean, I guess you'd probably have to be a little bit more specific. Shannon beta testnet is definitely something big as far as our timeline and moving things forward goes. Um, I know that Grove has additional partnerships that are coming up that may be of interest. We have an additional exchange listing that is opening up tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. UTC. Oh, and that's going to support not just spot, but they're also going to be opening up perps and futures and all sorts of options. So that's pretty interesting as well. I don't know. Do you have any other requests about what big might look like?
I can throw one out there, which I think is kind of flying under the radar just because it hasn't happened yet. But I don't think that we should not underestimate the impact that the move to the F chains is going to have on the network and the dynamics of the network. It's a major tectonic shift, and this is a major answer to a lot of the criticisms that we've heard from customers over time is that we don't support. It's very difficult to, as a user, know whether you're using mainnet or archival, and why are you getting one and not the other, and why do you sometimes have one and not the other, and how come I can't just send it to mainnet and it doesn't automatically route to archival? So we're very excited, and this is also a pretty significant soft reset to the network.
Excellent. Here's what I heard from that. We're about to get more relays. Braddock asks, can you share some Grove partnerships coming? How many major partnerships coming, at least if that can be revealed? I, Fred, you want to field that?
Sure, yeah, I can feel that. I think we have one that if you do a little digging, you might find something juicy. And then we also this Google one, it's been kind of like soft announced, but we're really excited about that. So those are two big ones. I don't know of any like major customer things that we're bringing on, but also I think that we have pretty good presence in some of the major customers throughout Web3. Really, the main thing that we want to push on to expand relays, expand customers is we're using the F chains as a soft reset, but then it's going to be path and quality of service. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff. It might not be before the end of the year, but early next, I think, is going to be a major kind of coalescence around a lot of different things.
Beautiful. And I know that we do have some additional information coming out later in the month, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that. What was the outcome of Kathy Wood conversation? I guess that's probably an art question, but I don't think he's in here right now. In regards to, yeah,
I was going to say that would be an Arthur question, definitely.
yeah. What I've heard from feedback is that the pitch in front of that crowd went well, um, and that some solid connections were made during that event. And that's about all I've heard, though.
Yep, that's more or less what I can say.
Other questions? You are of course, obviously, welcome to type them out in chat if you can't come off mute for any reason. I see Braddock is typing again. What will be this Friday? Which event? Fred Olshansky and Art. What is this Friday? 11/8?
Yeah, obviously you have some insider information. Arthur Olshansky and myself will be going to NYC for a Web3 Founders event. So we'll be up there meeting and greeting and hopefully making some good connections.
Excellent. Okay, well, those are all our updates on the protocol and gateway front. Anybody have other topics, questions, concerns, anything of interest that we should bring up?
I'll just put this one out there. If you're interested in playing with Path, but you're not really sure where to start, feel free to DM me. I think we have some options to help you get off the ground and get bootstrapped pretty nicely. And we're willing to definitely go out the way to help people who are interested in getting bootstrapped. It's designed to be really easy. I myself have done it. It took me about 45 minutes to get up, but I know some of you Uber hackers out there. Olshansky has demonstrated he's got it done, including running it on Shannon with a supplier and launching a new service all on Shannon Alpha Testnet in under 90 seconds. So it can be done, and we're really excited. So if you want to check out Path and give us some feedback, we want everybody and anybody to check it out and try.
Hey, could we actually, if there's a good time, could we set up like an open office hours type demo call? Like we used to have the builders calls on a regular basis. That hasn't been a thing recently, but if we could do a scheduled builders call to look at path setup and run through it in real time, I think that'd be super useful, and we could round up all of our community node runners and builders to take a look at that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's you and I, Jinx, let's take that offline, and me and you can figure out a timeline on when that makes sense, and we can put something together.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And I see that Breezy's typing in the chat. I think we need to bring these sorts of demos back. They used to energize the community, miss having them. Yeah, 100%. I agree strongly. I always appreciated like Ramiro showing what Pocket Scan was building, and some of the other folks, going through tooling and such. And it's funny because when we first started these calls, they were specifically the Node Runner office hour calls, intended to help independent node runners get nodes running and how to stake them, how to set them up, etc. So it was a chance for engineering folks to be available to the community at large. With some of these other product releases and additional tooling that's coming out along the way, I would love to see us do more actual live demos of this kind of stuff. So we can either do it as a feature for the regular Wednesday office hours call, or we can use one of the builder call slots and do it then, which I think are uh, actually like 2 hours blocked out. So easier from a total time perspective. I know we also have some other things coming up from the AI space. I'm looking at some potential collaborations that I'm working on from a comms perspective with a couple of decentralized AI providers who have like AI powered smart contract staking or something along that line. More information on that to come, but I think that we'll have a number of new things that are worth spending a little time on with the community at large, kind of demonstrating how these things work, how to build them, etc. And maybe something as well with the Shannon testnet as that goes live. Taking a little tour through the repos associated with that and kind of pointing people in the right direction. How big are these decentralized AI projects? Any major partners, Jing? I, I mean, I'm more interested personally in new projects or fairly new projects that are building with Pocket as their uh, ooh, excuse me, allergies kicking up hard here. With building with Pocket at the center of their infrastructure. I think to me that's the most interesting play in regards to the emerging marketplace of decentralized AI. So, I'm not talking about Tau or anything. If people are looking for a specific like well-known brand name or something, I think a lot of those projects have shown that they have some difficulties still to work out. Product market fit is challenging. Quality of inference returns is challenging. There's some hardships there with being able to effectively look at how to become a really embedded part of the Web3 ecosystem. So the stuff that I'm looking at and talking about is specifically in regards to newer projects who are looking at building it as a fully decentralized AI stack from the ground up, and a place where Pocket makes sense to be in the middle of that. And to me personally, I think that's far more useful than even, something like Tau, given that it would be something that's building on Pocket and growing versus, hey, we want some RPC overflow or whatever. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that once Shannon is fully out, though, just because the permissionless nature of Shannon means that they don't have to come through a gateway. They don't have to do anything except set up their own server and get whitelisted for support on the protocol. And I think that's going to have a significant impact on onboarding of new projects without even needing to go through sort of a negotiation process with an existing gateway provider. When will inflation change? I don't know that there's a hard date set on that. Off the top of my head, I think that Michael had set out some protocol targets, and that he wasn't going to adjust RTTM until those targets were met. I think that meant that he was allowing, if I recall, you could look in the forum to confirm that, but off the top of my head, I think he said he was going to allow inflation to drift upwards to around 20% before making the next RTTM adjustment. But that is off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. You can check it out in the forum and see what he wrote there. Other questions? What will happen on 11th November in terms of new exchange listings? 11/7, that's tomorrow, when the next exchange listing drops. I'm not sure what 11 November is in reference to. Mainnet staking? Sorry, you're gonna have to be a little bit more detailed there. I'm not really sure what you're asking. Okay. I mean, I know that the exchange that's listing tomorrow, Ascendex, they are turning up their markets over a period of days. It's spot initially, and they're getting the MMs and such registered for the perps and all the rest of that. So, it maybe that's what you're referring to, that 11th of November, that's going live. That's next Monday. So, I mean, certainly could be. I know that's not a definitive answer, but I don't have one of those for you. Agreed. What is happening with the KRW pair on Upbit? Is there any positive progress? Ooh, boy, that's a question. I think any of us who have been tracking the Korean marketplace has been watching the KRW pair extensively, or watching to see that drop. And the short answer is we have zero control over that. Upbit didn't even announce to us. For anyone who doesn't know, Upbit never even told Pocket they were going to list the Bitcoin pair. They just decided that it had enough volume for them to be interested in it, and they listed it. And that's how it's going with the KRW pair as well. They're watching to see if Pocket trading is meeting their expectations from volume and all the rest of those kinds of things. Exchanges primarily make their money on trading fees, so they are inclined to make sure that they have what they think is enough of a margin on total trading for that to be useful and profitable on their side. What it takes to get there is, frankly, impossible to say. Somebody has to decide that it's met the criteria which isn't published. So we don't have any direct information on that. That being said, looking at the marketplace on Upbit, Pocket has consistently been in the top 5 on volume in trading for like months now. So, it would seem to me that we are doing really, really well on meeting that expectation. But there isn't any way to, unlike a lot of exchanges, Upbit doesn't have a pay a listing fee or sign up for a specific market maker or anything along that line. The Korean regulatory marketplace is, I would suggest, even more restrictive than the US crypto marketplace. They do not allow market makers at all, for instance. Those are literally illegal in Korea. So, there isn't a simple answer of, hey, let's pay a listing fee and get on there, because believe me, if there was, we'd have already done it. we can only continue to tweet at them, begging them for the KRW pair. Use Gemini or ChatGPT for your Korean translations. They seem to be pretty useful. They are helping me communicate on a regular basis in the Korean Pocket Telegram, and just keep asking for it. At some point in time, it's going to happen, but unfortunately, I just don't have a better answer than that, and there's no way to fast track it. Other questions? All good stuff so far. Also, for those of you who may be listening to this recording on YouTube or elsewhere after the call's already over, this is an open topic call. Anything in the Pocket ecosystem is acceptable. You can ask about whatever you'd like. So, if you're not on these calls and you have questions and you're saying things in the chat like, hey, I wish I was hearing more about that, here's where it happens. So come join a call. We'll give it another minute or so here and see if we get any additional questions or proposed topics of conversation. But I'm always happy to give you all your time back if you're covered. I see Ambassador typing. Hey, no questions. Just thanks everyone for such a high transparency. Sure thing. It's I don't know many projects like this where you'll literally have access to core team members of the various connected teams. All right. Well, seems like we've covered everybody's questions and topics for this week. Thanks you as always for attending our weekly office hours calls, and I'll see you again next week. Same time, same channel.